Welcome. We're live to another episode of Ted Tackles. Not to be confused with the 1996 show I did called Ted Trickles, which was basically a 24-hour piss camera. But we won't go into that. You know what I mean. As always, I'm joined by a famous leader from around the world, and I'm happy to announce this week again. I'm joined by the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson. Welcome, Boris.
Thank you so much for having me again, Ted. It's a pleasure. I really enjoyed last week, and I've got to say I do need to make an apology this week, as because of the questions I received last week. I am so sorry to the viewers. I did not have a danger wank in the House of Commons this week. However, I do promise to attempt it next week. I did try to get the other side. However, that is why I was shit again today, because Keir Starmer was bombarding me, and all as I was thinking about was trying to have that danger wank, and it just was not happening.
No, it's a good point, that, Boris, and I've got to thank you for allowing us out and about for them today, because I had a danger wank in the park, so that was quite good. Bit weird though, because I was with our mum, but anyway, Barry Small, watch your cock, DJ Barry Small, one of our regular watchers there, Boris. Good to see you back there. As always,
it's certainly a good job that he actually didn't put that the other way around. Otherwise, he would have been a cock watcher. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, that might have been him in the bushes when I was in the park. Cheers, Matt. He loves it, Bozza. I think that's you, not me. As always, we are going to be taking your questions, your discussion points. Boris, you can ask him anything. Me, you can ask me anything. Hey, Craig. Hey, up, pal. You all right, Mara? Oh, no, you can't reply, can you? Sorry, I got a bit confused there. I was doing like a Zoom or something like that, you know what I mean? So feel free to ask us anything you want. Try and stay away from politics if you can, because it's like a little bit shit and boring and that, you know what I mean? And we all know, well, you won't mind me saying this, Boris, but you don't really know much about it, do you? So,
well, obviously, I mean, what I love about this is... Bozza, show us your Todge.
Yeah, that's Mucky Ellen, that's Mucky Ellen. I know her. Oh, hey, she'll show you a few tricks, mate. Fucking hell.
What is a Todge, by the way, Ted? What is a Todge?
A Todge, it's probably it's a shortened version of Todger, which you might know as your penis. Being a posh boy.
Yes, absolutely. Like I said earlier, when I was like I said last week in Eton, all we learned was penis and vagina. We didn't learn anything else. That's why I wish I was brought up in the Bora, because you just learn so much more.
You do. While we're on the subject, then, what's your top 3 favourite words for the lady part?
My top 3 words, I would possibly say, after watching a Chubby Brown DVD, I would probably say minge is my favourite. I love that. One of my favourites. Minge is a great word. And one of my friends gave me a really, really good one because I said, I'm on Ted's show next week. Drop me a text with your favourite words for the vagina. And he come out with an absolute bloody corker. It was, what did he say? He said, beef shutters. Beef shutters.
Oh, write that one down. Beef shutters, yeah.
Beef shutters. And a tuna canoe. I love that, Helen. I've got to say,
yeah.
You can see why they call her Dirty Helen. Absolutely bloody marvelous.
Oh, filthy. I like a tuna purse. I like an axe wound. And then when I'm with family members, I just use the word tuppence, just to be clean.
Tuppence is probably the more sort of casual. Do you know what one I heard when I was last up north was well, obviously a good one is ham wallet. I love a ham wallet.
Yeah, I do as well.
Very beautiful. And we've had axe wound. Someone just says, I love a good minge. So do I. Bloody marvelous.
We all do. We all do. It should be a policy of yours where...
We should badly packed kebab. I don't know I don't know what vaginas you've actually seen, Matt Oakes, but I'm sure they probably write down on the list on Pornhub if you were a porn star.
Yeah. I once seen one that looked like a donkey's yawn. You can imagine what that looked like.
A donkey's yawn. Good Lord, yeah. I bet that was enormous.
the meat tent. Some good suggestions there. I better make this a backy pouch. Okay, yeah.
Well, obviously, because of the fact that nobody is bloody shaven in this, well, nobody's had a wax. I can imagine there is lots of backy pouches, you know, in this, or small curlers. People use their small curlers to keep to keep
a vandalised bus seat. Fucking hell. Are you doing very Gills, Ellen? Just tell the truth. Sausage purse, that's a good one. Someone's have our lasses and funny like a welly top. We've gone off grid. Boris.
We certainly have. But I've got to say, this is a bloody relief compared to the pressure I'm under in bloody Downing Street, dealing with all these toffs. You know, that's why I love speaking with you every single week, Ted, because it's my release.
Yeah. Some great ones coming in here. Some of the butter lasses of clunges that big, it's like chucking a sausage down Linthorpe Road, and I can vouch for that. Well, we're going to get to some serious questions now, so you can save your fanny lingo for later on.
Actually, before we move on, Ted, I've actually got a great idea. Well, once lockdown is finished and everybody's back, I think we should, me and you, should have a competition, and we should both see how far we can throw that sausage down Linthorpe Road, and next time I'm down, that'll be bloody marvellous.
Yeah. Perhaps Helen can wait for us near the Chinese buffet of Linthorpe Road, which is for the legs open, and we'll see if we can get a hole in one with that shot.
Oh, that would be bloody fantastic, wouldn't it? And whoever gets it in gets a free Chinese buffet.
Very good. Matt Oakes has asked a question here for you, Boris. What do you toffs call scuttling? If you don't know what scuttling is, it's an animalistic sexual manoeuvre that people like me from Middlesbrough adopt. And it's where you latch on at the back and you just scuttle dead fast like that. It's often powerful and effective.
We just call it a kneeling up spoon. That's what we call it. There's nothing flash about. That's the reason I've come on the show, Ted, to try and get more information. I mean, a kneeling up spoon is basically where you go slightly faster. Is that what scuttling is?
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I was going to say you're probably a bit of a shit shaggy, Boris, but you're getting quite a lot of flange out there, aren't you? You've got a bit of a record of being a bit of a player. Well,
obviously, last week that was the cleaner, and she has been round several times today, and that is the only purpose she actually does come. However, when I do see her tomorrow, I will tell her how much fun that I had on this show. Apparently, she's watching as well.
Oh, hello, you mucky cow.
I can't say any names. I can't say any names for legal reasons.
That's all right. We know she is. George Edward Trainer. Ted, ask him yourself, you lazy bastard. Ted, ask Boris if he's secretly shagging any of his fellow MPs behind his girlfriend's back. He's asking for a friend. See the scandal there already? Speculation.
No, not recently. However, I do remember when John Major was pummeling Anne Widdecombe, I believe. I think that was what was happening. And we got some great banter going on about that with John. And I mean, good Lord, can you imagine? Would you give Anne Widdecombe a go, Ted?
Oh, I don't know. She looks like she should be in Monsters, Inc.
Yes, I suppose that could be very good role play. Get her dressed up as one of the characters. Off you bloody go. Yes.
Yeah, I could do that then. Yeah, I'm into role play. Yeah. Andrew Nowlin has asked, Boris, what would win in a fight, a tuna canoe or beef shutters? I don't believe two vaginas can fight, unless they're scissoring. Is that a form of fighting?
I suppose he is talking about scissoring. And in my opinion, Andrew Nowling, thank you so much for the question. Andrew, I would definitely say that a beef shutters would definitely get the tuna canoe, because as the tuna canoe is, I can imagine a tuna canoe is slightly smaller and the beef shutters are there. The word shutters absolutely just establishes the fact that they will just go boom on the tuna canoe and they will just destroy it. The referee is there. 1, 2, 3, ding, ding, ding. Beef shutters are the World Wrestling Federation champion. Yes.
Interesting. Yeah, I'd love to see that. Daniel Ross Courtney's asking there, could you give some advice on COVID-safe dogging? Obviously, being a member of the Thornaby Scuttlers, I'm looking forward to my first actual allowed to do some dogging round the back of the Griffin in Thornaby. So have you got any advice there for him?
Well, what I would suggest with the social distancing is I think fingering could be allowed, but only if you use one device. The only device you use is a litter picker, because what you do is you stand at a distance, you put it up there, and you just do this with a litter picker, and the litter picker will do this from the other side, and there we go. Bob's your uncle. Job done.
I like it. That's really good. It's a good. That's a really good use of a litter picker. That, like, you know what I mean. Good. I'll try that one. Stuart Bennett, Bozzer, you sorted my self-employed grant out yet? As I need to do a big shop tomorrow. What you playing at, Boris? You Doyle? Come on.
From the 13th up until the 18th, that is when you will find out how much you are getting. And if I'm perfectly honest with you, Rishi Sunak is in charge of all that type of thing. He deals with all that. I mean, I literally, Stuart, I am the Prime Minister, but I have different people working on different things. However, I did have a lovely conversation today in the pub with Rishi, and he is rest assured everybody will be safe. So, Stuart, your visit to Anne Summers will be happening very soon with your missus, and you will have a bloody good time because we will give you lots of money.
Good answer, that, Boris. I like that, mate. Well done. One for me, Mike Gorman. How's Fat Jolie, Ted? Still fat? You cheeky bastard. She's she's putting a bit more on in lockdown, I'll be honest. You know what I mean? Like, going back to the big shop question, we've had to install a mini warehouse in the back garden just to store everything as a constant replenishment to the cupboards process. Oh, she's eating everything. I caught her eating the dog food the other day as well. Yeah. Melly James, Boris, is there mucky messages and that on the bog walls in the House of Commons? I'd write one if I was allowed in.
What would your message be then, Ted? If you were to go into the House of Commons and say, right, I've just been for a nice big brown canoe, and I'm going to write something on the wall. What would it be?
I'd probably do me TED tag, which is it's like a massive hairy cock with TED written in the middle. But I'd probably make a special effort with it being the House of Commons, and I'd write it in shit.
Really? Well, to be honest, there is none. However, I remember I was in Wales once. We were doing a conference, and yes, and I do remember there was on the services. When you go to a services, Ted, and you see literally. Why is it in service stations everybody just assumes that men have erection problems? That's all you see on the blood. Get this, I've got erection problems. I no longer have erection problems. Well, I've got to say, Ted, I'm 50 odd years of age now, and I'm still bloody going like a rabbit. I've got to say, I do not need any of that shit. I suppose when, I've had one or two too many whiskies, because then, I mean, it's a bloody nightmare. And if she's not happy, it's like wanking a bloody flump. You can see it just flapping over each side of your bloody wrist. It's a nightmare. So, but the best one that I saw, it was in, I think it may have been Llandudno Services, and it said, contact Jenny, fab cocksucker, and she left her number, which I will give you after this after this interview.
Lovely. Going back there to your impotence answer there, me and Julie once had a rather fiery chili one night, and we got into bed, and we were going to get frisky now, but she did like an almighty fart, and it really, really stunk like really bad and put me off. And so I went a bit flaccid, but she wouldn't let me not do it, so I had to basically force it in like raw calamari.
Oh, it's a bloody nightmare when that happens.
Yeah.
And you are hoping and praying that it's going to go bloody back up. But you keep going and you keep going. And, sometimes I finish on a semi, Ted, between me and you. It's a nightmare.
I just used a brush handle. Barry Small, Boris and Ted, how many pints can you sup before you need to break the seal? What, like a seal pup? or a sea lion. Oh, you mean I think he means like you have a wee, and then you keep going, don't you? I can probably go for about 6 or 7 pints, but then my prostate balloons to the size of a fucking orange, and I need to go non-stop then.
Yes, I'd say if I'm going to go for a piss, I'd say it's about 4 pints in, because you're there in the pub, you're having a jolly good time, and before you know it, you're like, Jesus, I need to go. And when you go, Christ, it's a massive bloody power piss, isn't it?
Oh, man, sounds like Airwolf.
And do you know what I hate, Ted, is when you're having a piss and it hit not the cubicles that are individual. I mean those just troughs, troughs,
Yeah.
and you are literally pissing on the trough, and it's that powerful, it bloody bounces back on everybody, doesn't it? You're like, oh, get off. I've only come to the pub for a couple of drinks. I know I'm with a couple of elderly people and they already stink of piss. Doesn't mean that I've got to bloody join them.
No. I once seen a man in Grangetown. He was in a social club, and he just had a shit in one of them urinals because the trap was full with someone doing drugs. So he just had a shit in it.
Well, fair play. I mean,
Yeah.
if somebody's in there doing drugs, I mean, fair play. I would have just literally climbed to the top of the cubicle, and I would have just taken a shit right on the back of his head. As he is sniffing a line of coke, and say that's what you get, druggy.
Yeah. Oh, shitty beak. Mike Gorman, Ted, son, lad, man. What the fuck? What type of introduction's that, you Doyle? Who can do the most headers? You or Bozza? My money's on you, Ted. We can't really test it out right now, but I am a very, very extremely powerful and amazing footballer, and I can do hundreds of headers. I don't know about you, Boris. I've seen you tackle someone before, and it was a bit calamitous.
Oh, very calamitous. I just took the bastard right out, didn't I? But Ted, I've got to say, what I think we should do is after this, we should have a header challenge. We should literally see if we can make 100, as long as you're not one of those people. I remember when I was on holiday years and years ago with a few of my pals from Eton, and we were there in the pool, and we were like, okay, we've got to do 100 keepy ups. And there we are doing 100 and there was always one tosser who was, by the time we got to 99, he would knock it out the way on bloody pause. And we were busting to get to the bar. I was bloody choking. In the end, I just ended up getting a hold of him and I choked the bastard out of that.
Good. I'd have done that as well. Yeah. Lucky Allen, Bozza, do you get a sweaty gooch in the House of Commons? Are you familiar with what a gooch is?
I assume a gooch is your man parts, your testicles and your.
It's the no man's land in between the nutsack and the balloon knot. Sometimes it can grow quite thick, coarse hairs. But if you shave it like me, it can be a bit like a dolphin's nose, very smooth.
I suppose if you cut off your testicles, it would be a normal snake. However, it's actually a snake who has eaten a couple of snooker balls
or eggs
and eggs and gets stuck there and it just doesn't move at all. So because sometimes I feel like I go, geez, but yes, oh God, yes, Helen, absolutely. When you are sat there in the House of Commons, I mean, why do you think I always have to stand up, even if the opposition are halfway through something and they're not even answering a question? I stand up just to speak, just to get rid of that bloody sweaty gooch. It's a nightmare.
Oh no, we've got a question here. It's a serious one, I think. Is coronavirus just a clever way of stopping dirty Leeds going up? It's a football question. Has it been formed to stop Leeds going back to the Premier?
Matt, what I suggest is you write to Downing Street privately, and I will be able to answer that question for you. Otherwise, the FA will be onto me, and I will be bloody game over. So I really cannot answer that question, but write me a letter to Downing Street, Matt, and I will give you an honest answer between us.
Yeah. Tony Seaman here. This is going to be a fucking good one, isn't it? Ted, ask Boris Sunday. It was like the fucking okey cokey. In, out. I don't know the fuck about out. You need to work on your lyrics a bit, Tony, but I think you get the general idea there, Boris. What was the crack with your speech?
Well, Tony, what I would say to that is it was I would say to you, go out, but don't go out. Stay in, but don't stay in. I would also say go to work, but don't go to work on public transport. If that makes sense to you, then I'm sure it should to everybody else in our country. And you know, if you have any problems with the way things are, you know, feel free to come back next week. If the numbers have gone up, then you know, people are clearly unsure, and I really need to spell things out. But for me to say, you know, to go out and also stay in, to go to work but not go to work, I really don't know why there is a problem.
What did you think about the massive street party that went on in Brambles Farm in Middlesbrough? It was surely going against all the lockdown principles.
Well, of course, Ted. Absolutely, of course. They were absolute bellwethers, and that is why I'm encouraging them, because I assumed that there were flange zones going on around.
Hey, Joseph watching from Zambia there. Oh, you poor bugger having to watch this. Oh, thanks, mate.
Hello, Joseph Soko. What a great thing. A knife wound in a gorilla's back. They're still talking about fannies, Ted.
Oh, fanny mad.
Absolutely. But what I would suggest to the people who were together for a long period of time and partying as well, I would suggest that if, you know, stick with the litter picker to get into the ladies' parts, and I think that'll be fine. And if you want to party again, please make sure you take out your litter picker.
Yeah. She's asking again there about advice on safe dogging. I think we might have had that one. The Borough Boglin might be able to give some advice on dogging. What do you think? What do you think about dogging, Borough Boglin? I love going dogging, and I love it when they're about to come on the window and I open the window on our lass's face.
Oh, well, I've got to say that's bloody good. I mean, confusing ejaculation with bird shit is always one of my favourite jokes to pull on people.
Yeah, I've seen you before, sat in a tree having a wank. Now, flange zones. We've talked about flange zones in the past, and you promised, we've got one flange zone outside the Riverside Stadium, which attracts very little flange apart from Helen Gorman, who goes down there and pipes people off for a pint. Have you got plans to introduce more flange zones?
Oh, absolutely. But before I do answer that question, Ted, I would like to ask you, who is the girl who does it? Is it just one pint she does it for?
She'll probably do it for half, or a taboo and lemonade, from what I hear.
A taboo and lemonade. That is a drink I haven't had in quite a bloody long time. I mean, I can imagine she may give 2 out for a Pernod blackcurrant lemonade too. That's a very strong drink. But it does make me wonder, how many do you know? I mean, do you have the statistics on this? How many she actually gives out in order to make her drinking worthwhile?
Well, I know her husband really well. He's called Bungle, right? And he's got the biggest knackers a man could ever carry.
She's sucking other people off. Christ.
Yeah. And she's probably worried that these big knackers, it's going to be like throwing a can of emulsion on her face. So she probably goes out there just looking for a little splash rather than push.
I mean, that would be horrendous, wouldn't it? I mean, a kind of, and at the same time, I mean, the size of them. I mean, you probably can imagine her singing "Wrecking Ball" by Miley Cyrus as they're coming towards her. Bloody hell, woof.
She does karaoke. She's good at that. Yeah. Listen, I've got a special. I bring a special guest on every week, who just wants to talk about the show. And this week, I've got your very good friend. Wait for it. Are you ready? You love her.
Ted,
you absolutely love her. We've got Diane Abbott, who's on the phone. Can we play Diane's message to Boris and me, please?
Okay, I've got to say that I really, really enjoy the show. And what I also love is the fact that Ted touches on issues which are very, very important. And one of the most important issues that he tackles is one of the things that I think we should all address, and we should all make sure that we are getting involved in, and they are willy zones. Is that right? Willy zones. Willy zones. And I think willy zones are very important. One thing I would say is the fact that he is Ted, I would say, is sizist, because he always talks about skinny Julie. And I don't think that's fair to fat people, because what you are doing is you are putting skinny people on a pedestal and assuming that fat people are not accepted. So that would be my only complaint about the show. However, I absolutely love Ted Rogers. He is very, very funny.
3, 2, 1. Fuck off, Abbott. Is she on drugs? Fucking.
Well, if I'm honest with you, Ted, I'm not sure whether she's actually watching the right show. I mean, Ted Rogers, how long's he been bloody dead for?
Okay, I mean, I know I scuttle behind bins, but I've never scuttled dusty bin. You know what I mean? Fucking hell.
That is unbelievable.
Willie Zones.
I've got to say, Ted, I would absolutely love, just for the whole of the British public to watch this be. I mean, people have criticised me about the questions I've had during the live debates and everything. Can you imagine if Diane Abbott is asked about COVID-19? I mean, that would just be fantastic. How about next week we get her on for 10 minutes and you can ask her some questions?
Well, we'll see what we can do. Yeah, I mean, there might be a lot of misleading information going out. You're calling Julie skinny? Fucking don't get her hopes up. You know what I mean? Duncan Phillips, hello, mate. I seen you said hi there. Sorry, pal. Matty Rayson, he's told me to ask Boris here. Have you ever had a poo at the dispatch box? I don't know what that means.
Dispatch. I think he may mean the show Dispatches, because obviously behind the scene you have all the technical equipment, and I don't think I've ever been on the show actually. However, if they did try to piss me off in one way or another, I would definitely have a massive shit in the in one of those techie boxes, because when they get the wire out, they flick the wire up and then a load of shit goes in their face. Have that.
Oh, lovely. I'll be honest, I had a shit in your ballot box when it was voting time, but don't hold that against me.
Well, as long as it's stuck there and people could vote, then thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried that it did count as a vote there. Tony Seaman, Boris, is it correct that when you were a young lad, Jimmy Savile sat you on his knee and showed you how to milk a cow blindfolded?
I've never. The only time I have been blindfolded was when I had a night out once with Michael Gove, but that is something we really cannot get into. However, I've never met Mr. Savile, and in fact, I had no intentions in meeting Mr. Savile. However, I've got to say, when I was a kid, I did want him to fix it for me, but not that.
Yeah, here she is again, right? Boz, do you brush your napper with a toffee apple? She's only asking this because I once seen her insert 3 full toffee apples into her bum. So
that's right, toffee apples. I mean, fair enough, an apple, but when it's a toffee apple and it's trying to bloody get in there and it gets all sticky, and oh my God, they must have been a bloody nightmare to get out of.
Oh, God. I'd eat one after it had been up Ellen's bum, though, just saying. Next question, please. Richard Hurst. Oh, that's a lovely dicky boy you've got on there, Richard. And a lovely lady with you there as well. His question doesn't reflect how nice he looks. Put that back on that question. Ted, ask Boris if prostitutes are allowed back in the bongo. Now, the bongo is a club in the borough. And the prozzies used to always go in there. Used to go in and put a bit of reggae on and go, yeah, man, can I have a bit of Aswad on? And then you'd get like a rum and coke, and then you'd just get a prozzy. But to stop the prozzies going in, are they allowed back in, Boris, or what?
Oh, absolutely. Of course they are. I mean, especially if they play Aswad, because when they are getting, what's the word again, Ted? When they are getting scuttled, they could literally, and to make sure that they are getting a good service and the people are getting a good service, they could even pick a minger out and they could start scuttling them. And as long as the song Don't Turn Around by Aswad is on, they will not turn around. You finish the job. it's a bloody good £20 worth.
Yeah. Shine, shine that brown star, oh, shining so bright. Just a bit of song there.
I do love a bit of Aswad. Bloody
yeah. I'm a bit of Charles and Eddie fan myself. Matt Oakes, Ted, have you got a copy of Ted Tackles Diane Abbott? My mate was asking. It's a private recording, that, Matt. And, you know, it's probably the only threesome I asked her to arrange that she got totally wrong, and I won't tell you why. So,
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Ed, was Jeremy Corbyn also in that video?
Yes, he was.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was.
Jeremy Corbyn was pegging me.
I bloody knew it all along. I knew they were bloody up to something before it is.
He looks remarkably well for a naked old man, I've got to say. The Halls Are Ridiculous, which is a fantastic alternative comedy show. Boris, would you have a go on Big Fat Julie?
Well, I've got to say, if he's had a threesome with Jeremy Corbyn, then I'm sorry, Ted, but you've got to have a bloody threesome with me. And it means that we have to do it with Big Fat Julie. Then so be it, because I am so bloody jealous that you've had a threesome with Jeremy Corbyn and not me. I'm bloody furious.
Yeah, we should be. Yeah. Julie had, she'd have loads of fun with you, Boris. You know what I mean? One time we were getting so racy that she devoured a full chicken parmesan off her own chest whilst I was scuttling her. So it's a big chest. So.
Oh, that sounds bloody marvellous.
Yeah, got a bit confusing with the garlic sauce, though, but we won't go into that.
Well, if that was the case, I'd be on the other side, so she would definitely be confused.
Boris, we've got a sensible question. What was your first BMX and what was Boris's first BMX? My first BMX was a grifter. It wasn't quite a BMX, but I had a grifter, very heavy, thick wheels, couldn't really get it up the curbs. What about you?
Well, I think the first one that I had was a Grey Goose. It definitely was a Grey Goose. And I tried doing stunts on it. Actually, sorry, no. Was it a Grey Goose? Or did I have some Grey Goose vodka and end up trying to do some stunts on a BMX and ended up pissed as a fart and flew? Anyway, I think it was a Grey Goose. Yeah.
I was more of a skateboard man myself, you know what I mean? BMX Bandits, yeah, good, yeah. Well done there, Mike, yeah. Right, who have we got next here, Richard? Boris, do you shave your man sack? It's a very relevant question. I do. It grows back very itchy through my cotton underpants sometimes, but I think it's essential.
It's a nightmare, isn't it? Especially, like I say, if you notice, when you watch me do the debates in the House of Commons, you will see me stand up a little bit more. And also what you'll see me do when I've shaved it is I do that little shuffle that we do. You know when you're sat down and you can't. I cannot get up and scratch my bloody ass because I do my ass as well as my ball sack. I get it right in there, and it sticks to my bloody legs as well. And it's a nightmare when that happens. So you've got to do that either side to get the bloody stickiness away from your legs. And it's a nightmare when you are stood up and you try to get the stickiness away from your balls to your legs as well. After you've shaved it, it's worse. And so I tend to do this thing where, I've stood up right now. I tend to do this thing where I do a sort of sideways walk. So I do this like a sort of side step into a sort of like a really shit splits in order to get my ball sack off my leg. And it bloody willy peels off as well. It's a nightmare.
Oh, I mean, I've got to a certain age now, and Bungle Gorman will agree with this. That my knackers are massive now. They're almost like a grabber bag of quavers. They're that big, And I often, if I get the bus, I can sometimes sit down and sit on my knackers, and I go, "Hey, fucker!"
That sounds hugely painful, Ted. Absolutely, yes. I mean, I couldn't bear. I mean, my testicles are not as big as yours, but by the sounds of it. However, what I may do is I may go to the shop. I think Ananth around the corner is still open. I think I might go to the shop, get myself a grab bag of quavers, and just measure, just to see if they are smaller than a. Did you actually measure it at the time?
To be honest, I measured it from how close they used to be to my knees and how they're close they are to my knees now, and the measurement is very close to my knees.
Oh Christ! So you measure your testicle to your knee now. You don't have to measure your testicle to your groin. That's how, Christ, that's a hell of a way down.
Yeah. I can't wear them shorts now without an underpant lining. Otherwise, they just hang out the side. You know what I mean? So when I go swimming, like I don't want to be baths or anything like that, I often get thrown out.
Yes, they probably. It's okay, Ted. What I suggest you do with that is paint them red, and then people think that they're groin floaters.
Oh yeah, good idea. That yeah. Boris, when did you last shit yourself in public? We all want to know.
Do you know, I really cannot. I think the day I became Prime Minister, I never thought it was going to happen. And when it did, I literally shat myself. I thought, well, I'm here now. I've got to get on with it. So, yes, probably when I became Prime Minister.
Yeah, if you can hear something in the background, Branko's dreaming. Branko, shut up!
Dreaming about me shitting myself, thinking, why didn't you have your pants off like when I do it in the street, Boris, for God's sake?
Ian Littlefear, Ted, what's the crack with this crazy mass gathering in Teesside by the UK Freedom Movement? Who's the UK Freedom Movement? Why haven't I been invited? I'm the people's poet of stuff. Have you heard of it?
I have not heard of it at all, Ted, and I would like to know who these people are. I'm sorry, I'll rephrase that. I would like to know who these bellwiths are, just so we can stop this where people are gathering together. It's absolute nightmare. I mean, I can imagine it probably looks like a Royal Rumble when they're all there.
Sounds like anarchy, bunch of chebends. Ted, how many jelly beans can you fit up your one-eyed fluke? It's a good question, because I have done it before, and I don't just use jelly beans, I use jelly babies, and I once got 11 jelly babies, ending with my favourite, which is the black one, and then I popped them all out and ate them. How many could you get down your bell end?
You know what, Ted? I've got to say it's a very inspiring story, because you know when some people have to go to the hospital and they have to get that tube up their penis to make sure they can pee properly, they should just stay at home. Do it with jelly babies during this crisis, ladies and gentlemen. If you have got that, sorry, gentlemen, not ladies and gentlemen. Fucking hell, that could be quite confusing, couldn't it? But gentlemen, if you have that problem, I suggest that you use jelly babies, just like Ted did, and also, Ted, to add to the sausage throwing event to our day when we have that competition, we can also add the jelly babies up the then it is much harder to get to the Chinese buffet. But however, make sure you don't drink too much, because Christ, when you need a piss, I can imagine what that'd be like. We'll come out.
God. It's funny you should say that, because I recently been to the sexual health clinic, as you can see there from my pen. Because, you know, since you lifted the lockdown measures, Julie's been going out running. Just she says she has, but then we had a scuttle and I got a bad itch. Do you think? I mean, I think she's getting banged off Puffy Derrick down the road. Do you think more people now are going to be rekindling their affairs and stuff because they're allowed to go out and get a bit of flange or todger?
I've got to say, Ted, there is only so much. There is only so much FaceTime sex you can have. But, you know, you're there, she's there. There is only so much you can do, and only so many faces you can pull online. You just want the real thing. And honestly, Ted, I am trying my best. That is why I am urging everyone to start with litter pickers. We are giving out free masks and everything to the NHS. However, I will put in the budget to Rishi Sunak about us getting those litter pickers out there, as long as they have a pillow, sort of a soft thing at the end.
Yeah.
You can do the same.
Should rename them. I think we should rename them litter picker dish flickers.
Litter picker dish flickers, absolutely. Yeah. Also, so we've got the sausage throw, we've got the putting the jelly babies down the willy. So what I suggest is, if anyone else suggests any other events for me and Ted to take part in, then I really think that actually, funnily enough, Ted, my good friend Bobby Davro is calling me. Shall I answer you?
Yeah, get him on, Bobby Davro. Let's get him on.
Right, here we go. Yes. Bobby, it's Boris. How are you? I'm doing a show at the moment with Ted HANKY. How are you?
Are you on the show now?
We're on the show. Yes, Bobby.
Oh, hello. Boris, I'm sorry, are you a fan of Mr. Davros?
I'm absolutely a fan of Mr. Davros, and I've got to say, I absolutely love your jokes. Especially Ted. He loves the filthy ones.
I love Bobby Davro. Love him.
Entertainer.
He's a family entertainer. I've got to say, Bobby, what delighted to hear from. I mean, I wasn't going to.
There is a reason why I'm phoning. I'm just wondering when I'm going to receive my knighthood, perhaps. You know, it'd be nice to have something like, or maybe an OBE, and
what I'll do is I will have a chat with Liz. Sorry, I shouldn't call her Liz because she's our queen, but when you know her as well as I do.
Is still the Eastern European one that takes 5 hours to do the 10 Downing Street?
I don't know. What is that?
Slovak.
Oh, yes, very, very bloody good. See, this is what happens. When I'm feeling down and I've had a shit day, I always get a phone call of Mr. Davro and he bloody cheers me up. It's marvellous stuff.
Well, it's marvellous. I'm going to go on my Facebook now and tune in and watch it, Boris.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, lovely.
Well, we haven't got a long left. However, but if you have any questions for us next week, then feel free. So,
well, I've got one last question. I have been watching a lot of black and white while the lockdown's having a lot of black and white movies.
Yes.
Or I like to call it interracial porn.
Oh, Jesus.
Could you recommend me a site perhaps I haven't visited?
Well, I've got to say, I don't have a site. However, if you speak to Ted, he knows quite a few people who sell good porn DVDs. Is that correct?
I'll just go on Pornhub, Bobby. You'll have a blast on there, mate.
Well, I'm going to have a little look, and I'm very much a fan of yours as well. Your Caesar spectator looks like he swallowed a piano. But
cheers, man.
And I've only got one word to say, a word that I use quite often, you know, Boris, and that the word is dreadful.
Oh no, yes, dreadful. Well, if your life's been bloody dreadful, can you imagine what mine's like? I'm right in the bloody shit. The whole country's on my bloody ass. Anyway, Bobby, thank you so much for calling. It was very unexpected, and speak very soon.
Keep up the good work, Boris. We all love you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And did you really shag Diane Abbott?
Yes, can we we've just had a conversation about this. Ted and Jeremy Corbyn have had a bloody threesome with her. So I said, I'm sorry, Ted. I'm not having this. You having a threesome with Jeremy Corbyn.
And I've got nothing against that. Can I tell you what? Because I had a first threesome yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yes, 2 no-shows. Does it count?
Yes, I suppose it does. I suppose it does. Yes. Bloody.
You let it slip a bit, then. You let it slip, Boris.
Bloody marvellous. Thank you. I let it slip. That's what Ted said last night to Big Fat Julie. So yes.
I tell you, congratulations, by the way, on the baby.
Oh yes. Thank you so much.
Another fucking withdrawal agreement that you loused on.
Oh yes. I've got to. Well, obviously, I'll be giving out free bloody Durex as well as marks very soon, if I'm perfectly honest with you. So yes.
Stick out your edge because you're acting like one. That's what a lot of people say. But have a great evening, and Boris, a big fan. Love you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. Before we go, I think Ted has a question for you. Is that right?
Oh, Ted. Yes, Ted.
Yeah, Bobby. Who is the best celebrity you've seen naked?
Hold you like mine. Yes, I've been told that before, you know, but I've got a bit of a worry, Ted, because they've discovered a small, ugly lump of my testicles. But it's okay. It turns out it was my cock.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Bobby.
Listen, Bobby. We're still on air, so after the show, I'll give you a ring.
Oh, please do.
Okay, fantastic.
Love to you, Boris. Love to the missus.
Thank you so much, Bobby. Thank you so much. Marvellous. Thank you. Christ, out of all the people to bloody contact me during the show.
Bobby Javro, I didn't even know you were mates with him, Boris. You know what I mean? He's more like someone I should be mates with than you.
Bobby's a great friend. Well, next time I'm down, I'll bring Bobby along. And he can join in with all those bloody competitions that we have.
Yeah. I'm sure the lovely viewers will love to see that. Bungle's asking a question here. Look at him there. He is with supposedly his lass, but you know. Now, Ted, Bungle here. I use a dry razor to do my bungle bollocks. I pull them out over the sink like a giant flatbread and scrape away. Can you both recommend a nice moisturiser for afterwards, as they get shaver's rash and glow up like a Wilton firecracker? It's a very good question there. My advice, what I like to do is when I've had a proper deep shave of my knackers and my gooch, is I just rub a bit of lard on them. Rub a nice bit of lard around them as well. Keep hold of the packet though, you know, like you don't want to get it on your hands, but rub it on your knackers and then pull your underpants back up and then everything's fine. But don't stand near the chip pan.
Do you know what I would suggest? I would suggest, obviously, lard. I do get what you're saying with lard, Ted, but I really think that you should join the Avon. The Avon have moisturizers which are just as cheap as bloody lard. And you honestly, and there's a woman called Avon Amy, and if you go on her website, she's bloody marvelous. She'll definitely get you some good creams.
Oh, there you go. Check out Avon Amy.
She may also give you more, Ted, as well.
Good. Do I get a percentage of sales if I encourage any?
Oh, absolutely.
Good. Mally James, I'm sat watching my dog Ringo lick his own knackers. What a good name for the dog, Ringo. Can either of you lick your own knackers? Well, I can now, and I don't even have to put my head down. I just pick them up. And but I've got Branko, who's got no teeth. Branko's my dog, and sometimes I'll just put a little bit of chappy on my bollocks. It's quite nice, you know, if I'm watching, I don't know, the news.
Yes, I suppose. It's yes, I once saw a dog do that, and you know, when you think to yourself, God, I wish I could do that, and then I suppose if you give it a biscuit, he might let me.
I think he would, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good. Bungle said smash Boss's back doors. What's the chances after lockdown? You're being silly now, Ellen. This is a serious show, dickhead. You might have answered it.
I suppose smashing my own back doors in. Well, listen, Helen, we never know what could happen after lockdown. People may have serious needs by then. So I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm saying you can smash my back doors in. I'm saying you can't smash my back doors in. I'm just saying I leave it up to you to decide what you think that I think.
Lovely. We're going to have a few more questions before we wrap it up for the night, Matters. Boris, have you ever snapped your banjo string while scuttling someone? It's a painful. I've done it.
Yes, I have, and it was an absolute time. And I do remember when it did happen. I had to wrap. I asked the lady for a panty liner to wrap around my penis, and went to the hospital, and it was all bandaged up and everything. And this nurse, who was very, very beautiful, said, if you get an erection, you will be in absolute agony. I said, well, can you, the one with a bit nice tits, please fuck off, because I will get an erection very soon.
Yeah. Right. Can we have one more really good question, Mr. Joe Pittman? Make it a good one. I'm gonna get you in a headlock. He's looking. Oh, here we go. Chris Adamson. Oh, thanks for tuning in, mate. Mr. Johnson, isolating alone is shit. I need to get out the house and finger blast a bird around the corner from the pig iron like I normally do. However, I'll follow the distancing rules like a good boy. Can you recommend any shows to empty my pipe? Loose Women is boring him now. Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, I had to have a wank over the cruise with Jay McDonald the other day. It was bad. Any suggestions?
I've got to say, I did used to watch that with Jane McDonald, and I've got to say, Ted, I did bash a few out over that one. And I tell you what's a bloody marvellous one. If you're ever bored, and a few episodes of Trisha, a few episodes of Ricky Lake, and a few episodes of Oprah. Oh, yes. I mean, they were bloody stunners in their time.
Oh, great suggestions there. I once cracked one off over the Old Scottish Bird in Flog It the other day, just because there was an out song, but I was like really horny, so I literally did just flog it, if you know what I mean.
When it needs to escape, it needs to bloody go. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Listen, thank you very much for listening and watching tonight's show. Unexpected guest of Bobby Davro. Fucking hell, I was surprised by that. That was great. If you've enjoyed the show, last question from George Edward Stainer. Has Big Fat Jolie been putting the lard on her ass, Ted? Yes, because she does have to also shave the old balloon knot, and a bit of lard soothes it. And it also gives me an easy slip. So so thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the show, you can donate, even if it's just 50 pence. It'll help me and Boris to buy like a chomp bar or an island toffee or something like that. The links are going to be on the post on my page, on Joke Pit page and on someone Danny Postal Impressionist page. Don't know who he is like. But thank you very much for tuning in. Please share this video as well so we can get more views and more people watching next week. I don't know, do you want to come back next week, Boris?
I would absolutely love to come back next week. And I've got to say, this bastard's fucking calling me again. What's he like? I told him I'd be on the bloody show.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for watching. Any final words about staying safe and all that shit?
Stay home, stay safe, and also I recommend that you buy. If I'm sure they're going to sell out very soon after people have seen this, but the litter pickers, definitely buy litter pickers, because that will be the first stage of starting the Doggers Club. What's the Doggers Club called again?
Thornaby Scuttlers. Well, what I'll do is I'll invest in a big pack of the litter picker dish flickers, and we'll see where we go with that.
Absolutely, litter picker dish flickers, bloody marvelous.
Brilliant. Right, thank you very much for tuning in. Have you got anything else you just want to promote before we go, Boris?
Well, I would recommend, there are a few shows I would recommend go see. I would recommend to watch, there is a program called What Gets My Goat, which is on tomorrow. I love sitting watching that with my wife because it basically, I listen to comedians talk about what pisses them off, and then it registers to me and I can put it in my manifesto. So it's very educational. It's also very funny. And also, there is Danny Postal and Stephanie Add on Sunday evening. That show is on at 6 p.m. The Fanny and Danny Sunday Sesh, where they sit there, they drink wine, and it's bloody marvellous.
Brilliant. I've got a new episode of my podcast out today, and it's all about the Mall being demolished. So have a listen. It's really fun. And that's on all your usual podcast providers. On my website, tedhanky.com. You can get it on there. You know what I mean? And I'm doing another one of my celebrity quizzes, Boris. I'm doing another celebrity quiz at the end of the month. You're going to record me a question for it.
Absolutely, I'll record you a question. Anything, Ted. Because I got to say, I do love your podcasts. They're bloody marvellous. Me and my wife, once we've got the baby to sleep, let's listen to a bit of Ted.
Yeah, get you in the mood, I know. Right then, we'll leave it there then. Thank you very much, Matters. Please like our pages, share it about, and if you're feeling like a nifty, shifty titwank, bung us a couple of quid into our piss pots and that, you know what I mean?
Keep this show. Yes, thank you so much. Bye.